Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Let me look at this chat. Yes, we are live on two platforms on our backup channel and in our main channel. It's the first time I do something like this, so it took a little bit of a learning curve for me. I had to reschedule some things, but we're here. We're back up on both. So if you got reminders for both, I'm sorry that that's annoying, but I'm happy that you got reminders for both. So sorry, Barbie. I apologize for that. Shout out to everyone in the chat. I see people have been waiting for us. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. We are on subscriber mode for two channels. Why? It's because I really think that if you got something to say, subscribe. I want to hear from you. I don't want you to just be a troll, run away, and then I never see you again and never hear from you, Yeah, so that's what we're doing on both channels. We are doing subscriber mode for 20 minutes. Now, before we really get into some stuff, really get into this stuff, I really wanted to start by shouting out people. Now, yesterday I missed this, and I told you guys got to remind me. I might ignore it a little bit, depending on what I'm talking about, not intentionally, just for a minute. We had some super chats yesterday that did not get the appropriate rabbit twerk, right? And you know that that's the thing that we do here. When you donate to the channel, we really want to show our appreciation. We can't lap dance or anything like that, but we will twerk, and we will do that. But we had a little update of our rabbit twerk. Shout out to Red Hot Unfiltered, who has a YouTube channel. You guys check her out. She did a little video for us. So this is by her, and this is a thank you to our supporters who have supported us financially. Thank you so much, Red Hot. Oh my gosh, fun to be blonde. Thank you so much for the super chat. That I'm including you on that little twerk that we just did there. So, Red Hot Unfiltered, she's very talented, guys. She has a channel of her own. If you need anybody for graphics or anything like that, check her out. Again, she has been going through some stuff. I don't want to disclose all of that, and respectfully want to be respectful of her as well. But reach out to her. Check her out. She's very creative. Love Red Hot. And she did that little video for us. And as soon as I said I need a twerking rabbit with money, she made it rain for us. So shout out to you, Red Hot, for that. And I thank you so much for doing that for our channel. All right. Thank you so much for the super chat again. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the beautiful comments that I have here. We definitely have a lot of love today. We're going to get started. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some content. I'm going to try my best to keep my commentary short and to the point, because I'm going to drop the link. And I'm really wanting to hear from everyone about your opinion, your thoughts on this situation, because this is, I think, this is a social issue, period. And social issues are my thing. I like to look into social issues. I like to look at facts. I like to look at different areas to figure out, is there a solution to the situation? So I think that there's an opportunity for that here. One thing I want to start with, and I really loved our conversation yesterday. Everyone that participated, thank you for doing that. One thing I really loved yesterday was that I walked away as the person doing the content as if people understood the value of reporting child abuse and neglect. Okay, so thank you. We never want to discourage people from not reporting. Okay, so thank you so much for that. Oh man, we got to do another dance, but we'll do it afterwards. Remind me. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you. You're always supporting us, so thank you. We're going to start there. I heard a comment from somebody, and I thought that this is where we have to be very careful. Someone said, if you suspect abuse and neglect, you just need to mind your own business. You shouldn't be getting into the business. And I think that we're teetering in that situation right now where we feel like we're not allowed, like if we're concerned, to make a report, right? We have to be careful with that message because that discourages people from making calls that could otherwise save somebody's life, right? And we're not trying to get people away from that. The point of the matter that's happening right now is this story about Molly or is it about Angelica? Because I feel like personally we're getting off track here. If this is about Molly, let's make this about Molly. If this is about Angelica, let's make it about Angelica. Those are two separate things. I'm glad that she called and she reported her concerns. Okay? But it was after everything that kind of happened that boiled up that we really need to figure out, all right, when do we stop and then focus on children? Because let me give you guys an example. I'm gonna put this in the stream. I don't know if anybody knows the story here. If anybody knows the story here by the Hart family, if you know the story, please drop a rabbit on the chat. Just let me know that you know the story by dropping a rabbit on the chat. And this is a very intense story of what it looks like when the system fails. Okay? What it looks like when the community fails. If you know this story, drop a rabbit on the chat. And that's okay if you don't, Old School Patricia. I'll give you guys a real brief story. There's a podcast out there. If you guys like to listen to podcasts, I'll make sure that I recommend that. Here is the Hart family. It is a very tragic story. The Hart family, it's two women, okay, lesbian couple that adopted all of these kids, okay, from the foster care system. All right. This situation here was very tragic. All of these kids are deceased. They're gone. All right. Here's what happened. These two women were abusing these kids, moving from state to state. And that's the thing about states. You see, the thing that we don't have nationwide is I can do a background check and find out if you have a felony in some state, right? If I commit a crime in Wisconsin, I'm just throwing a state out there, and I live in California and then move around this way, I could, and it's a felony, I'm registered somewhere. It's very likely that people will know that I robbed a bank, right? Let's just an example. But if you commit, an offense of child abuse and neglect in the state of Wisconsin, then you decide to move with your kids into California. Okay. You do another offense. You get recorded there. Then you go to another state. None of that is captured nationwide. We don't have a system that captures who did what in each state. It's not like you committed a felony. Now, sometimes it is, depending on what the crime is. So all of these kids right here, these two women use these kids, all right? Poster children's for social issues. One of the kids, I believe it's the one with the hat, he actually was the kid that was hugging the cop crying. There was a picture out there, it was a very big kind of nationwide picture where these two women kind of exploited that, promoted it, right? They adopted all these kids. They would write postings on their Facebooks saying that, so and so had these issues. These kids were running away from the home in the middle of the night, breaking into other people's houses because they were hungry and they weren't fed. One of these women was addicted to gaming and spent most of her time gaming. Okay. So then this is what they did. They gave these kids Tylenol. All right. They took something as well, like a sedative, and ran off the cliff with all these kids in there. And child abuse and neglect, they were looking at them. There were reports all the time. There was a lot of reports out there. Okay? And nobody was doing anything about it because they were moving from state to state. And these kids are adopted. They're from the system. And let me tell you, if you put a price, and I hate to say it this way, think about it this way. If you adopt these kids, right? You got to think about it in the sense of like, how much money is the system paying these women to keep these kids? And again, I don't know the ins and outs of where each child was adopted from. It might look different, but once they investigated everything, I mean, they weren't necessarily working anymore. They were living off of whatever payments they were getting to support these kids in their homes. How many kids do we have here? It's enough. So failure to report is real. Don't believe the crap that mind your business. Don't report. No, you should report, okay? You should report. If you suspect and in good faith, like we talked about yesterday, you should report, because if you don't, we're going to wind up seeing situations like that. And guess what? The system fails all the time. This was a murder suicide. These women, there was something wrong with them and they used substances. They gave these kids Tylenol as they ran off the cliff with their little van. They made sure the dogs were taken care of. Okay? That's the intensity of the situation. And this is an example of why we need to be careful. Okay? These are all children of color, right? So feel free to look into the story a little bit more. This story, I'm telling you, there was a podcast out there that investigated it. And this was back in 2018, yeah, I believe. And you really get to hear about the mental illness that these women went through, right? And also like their thought process, and also this how they saw these kids. Okay, these kids were not like children to them. These were a price. It is a very hurt, and I try not to get into it because this is the kind of stuff that I get really worked up on. All right, so I just wanted to give you an example of what system failure looks like, because federally, nationwide, we don't have it. We don't have it right. So if you make a call and you're doing it in good faith, do it. But it's exactly the opposite, that if you call the system and you're just making reports to make reports and not really knowing, like, is it in good faith or is it because a content creator told me to call and I really don't know what's going on, then you're flooding the system. Hence, these kids can also be failed because there's nobody to keep an eye out on them as well. And this is very near and dear to my heart. I'm telling you guys, I know how the system works. I know it like the back of my hand. Yeah. So I hate to start this way, but I wanted to make sure I gave a little PSA. Okay. Very important that I gave a little PSA on this situation. Um, yeah. We're gonna get started. I'm gonna remove this. Feel free to look at that story. If you need the article, you can shoot me an email. Again, it's the Hart family. There's a podcast out there that you guys can access that you'll be able to see. And we're gonna start now. Okay. Let me take you guys back to, so the press release was shared, right? A lot of people are talking about this press release. Let me tell you guys what we did and what we've been working on as it pertains to this press release. I actually contacted the Riverside Sheriff's Department. I contacted them via an email, right? And I'll show you. Let me see. Oh no. Let's share this. Hopefully you guys can see this part. Here it is. I contacted them because when I was reading this, I realized that one thing that was off, and thank God that they updated this. Right here, it said that she was 21. She's actually 23, and her booking and her DOB and all of that actually matches that she's 23. So I wanted to make sure. I was like, wait a minute, are we talking about the same person? I mean, these are kind of the little nuances that I look at. I have the email to prove that they fixed it and that they were going to update it, and they thanked me for noticing that. Of course, I'm like, yeah, we're going to notice things like that because we're rabbits. We observe things like that. But we talked a little bit about the charges yesterday, what it looked like. She has a misdemeanor. Okay. I know that right now, Angelica has been on a PR tour. Okay. Which honestly, it's probably not the best thing to do right now. Not the best thing to do right now is to be on a PR tour. This is where it stands right now. What the media release really highlights is that February 20th, this is kind of when the story bubbled and the little clip was shown and it went viral on information that a child of neglect and sexual assault, okay, that they received this information. These serious allegations set in motion in hundreds of staff hours by several law enforcement agencies in two separate states. Okay, because one of the states was Arizona and the other one was in California. The family was visiting from Arizona, right? Well, excuse me, to California, and they're from Arizona. Okay, so they weren't in their home state, right? So we know that there was 4 independent investigations related to this incident. I want us to pay attention to this. They're saying 4 independent investigations. So earlier today, Angelica did an interview with That's So Bold, where she gave a statement, okay? An entertainment attorney, and I say entertainment attorney because when you actually look into her history and her profile, she does entertainment law. She represents influencers, film stars, and all these people. Okay, I was trying to see where her prosecution side, maybe she's done it and she didn't put it on her profile. And we could look into that as well. But the attorney had said something to the effect of that was a little bit different than 4 independent investigations. She was saying that it was 4 agencies. I didn't hear agencies, nor did I read. I read there were 4 independent investigations. Okay. So that could mean a variety of things. That could mean that if they're independent, it could have been the FBI, it could have been other people. They're just not saying who it is, right? Important point to point out. So from there, it appears the person reporting has seemingly made up the allegations and had no supporting evidence to substantiate her claims. Her claims, both to law enforcement and publicly had numerous inconsistencies. We had pointed those out yesterday, right? We had talked a little bit about them. One thing that we have to know, okay? And this is the piece that I think we have to be very careful. You don't have to get the information right when you're calling abuse and neglect, okay? We've said it. So as long as you're doing it in good faith. But what did Angelica do that set the motion off for everything? For now, there have been a warrant out for arrest. Something happened. What did she do? What did she say? Something was said that set the motion to the situation. You see, if you got 100 man hours, and yes, it happened in a span of a weekend, okay, when all this kind of went down, the information and the investigation was quick, but you got to think about what was happening behind the scenes and or on YouTube. People were being instructed to call the police, right? People were being instructed to call CPS over and over and over. So yeah, I believe that it said 100 man hours. It probably did. People do work on the weekends. There are CPS workers on the weekends. There are police officers and investigators on the weekend. There's usually a DA or a judge or whatever on standby. If somebody needs to, if we need to take custody of a kid, okay, there are judges that will place holds on kids. Those things do exist outside of normal business hours. So that statement, I would very much believe it and probably co-sign it. Right. So the allegations were pretty horrendous. That's what it says there. It sparked countless calls to dispatch centers, city, county officials, all the while the 4 independent investigations were fully staffed and tracking accordingly. The countless calls to our dispatch center took up valuable time for our citizens. Okay. The sheriff's department would also like to explain that if it were a legitimate criminal incident, the frivolous aspects and information would have hindered the investigation. Ultimately, the welfare of a child. Think about it. I think so too. You're going on different platforms, PR and everything, and you're involving all these other people that didn't see the case. I would believe that something would have been hindered in that. All right, we're going to keep going. From there, The Riverside County Sheriff's Department would like to remind the public that not only all information that is on the internet, on social media, is accurate and can be very misleading. Okay? Not all information is accurate and it can be very misleading. It's very true. There's a lot of misleading information even on YouTube. That's just how it is, right? While we appreciate and understandably the outrage of child crimes, we encourage the public to be engaged and helpful towards law enforcement. So it's a community effort in combating crime. Yes, child abuse and neglect is a community effort. We talked a little bit about that. It takes a village. Very true, to raise a child. Always. Always. It takes resources. It takes time. Outside of the parents, it takes a community. We have to note that. So, where it really stood out to me was that the case was presented to the district attorney's office and they deemed it to have probable cause, which is what we need. The crime has been committed by the original reporting party. I wonder how much she had been also watched in terms of what she was saying on the internet, how she was saying it, and what it led other people to do during YouTube. Right? We have to think about it that way. I wonder. So, from there, an arrest warrant was issued by the Riverside County Court. Now, I want to make a point. Someone, and this was the entertainment attorney that went on That's So Bold, who said, it was a misdemeanor. How often do you see an arrest warrant for a misdemeanor? I said, well, maybe this was just my thought. Maybe that's the least of her worries, that she only got a misdemeanor. Maybe she needs to be like thankful that it was just a misdemeanor and not a felony, that it didn't get more escalated. I'm just thinking. It's a misdemeanor. Right? So I'm thinking in my mind, well, that's the least of your worry. A misdemeanor is something that I'm not saying that there's no validity to anything, but it's not a felony. And you were able to postpone. They didn't just let you go. So on Saturday, August 28th, she was arrested. We told you guys our channel was the one that emailed the sheriff's department and got the age fix in there, okay? That's all we have right now. That's what they're saying. That, again, it is what it is. But you know what was really disturbing? We're going to play this in a minute. Let me tell you what was really disturbing from this situation, because it didn't just stop there. If you guys notice the shirt that she was wearing, this is her mugshot, okay? We guys see her mugshot. And I'm going to show it to you in a bigger format. This is her mugshot. Look at her face. Look at her eyes. Look at her nose. Look at her. Just look at her. We're going to remove it. I want you to pay attention. Do you guys notice anything about her face? What color is her shirt? Just want to make sure that we get a good look at her. All right. Because this is what's going to happen. She gets released from jail. Okay. She goes on a PR video stunt. Let's play that little video right now.
Arrested me for a warrant. They had no reason to arrest me. They said that I was slandering. No proof that I was slandering, right? I was locked up. Didn't have to go to Banning jail. They sent me to Indio jail. No reason, no warrant, none of that. They set me up. I have a video when I'm being set up. They told me to meet them at Vons and Desert Hot Springs. I met up at Vons and Desert Hot Springs. Another sheriff pulls up after they're trying to say, hey, we're helping you. Like, where do you live so we can, make sure you're okay. Another sheriff comes up with two cops, two sheriffs. They arrested me with no warrant. They said they come up and they say, you're under arrest. You got a warrant out for your arrest. No fucking warrant. Let me show you guys my ticket. Citation. Let me remind you guys. Oh, did you pause it?
No.
Let me remind you guys. My cousin's a witness. There was no warrant out for my arrest. They took my phone And they want me to sign the paper where they made me sign a fucking paper to say, hey, that I'm lying, and that's what they want me to say in court. You guys better help me out because this shit's getting escalated. I'm letting my cousin post this. She's a witness. There was no warrant out for my arrest. Look me up. No warrant out for my arrest. Supposed to be slandering to a police officer? How? They never got an official statement. They got me where I recorded them because they said it was an interview, not an investigation, an interview where they recorded me without consent. That's what they got mad for. So just so you guys know, my posts are being deleted. A lot of shit is being deleted because of the government and the sheriff's department. They're trying to scare me, but I'm not backing down, motherfuckers. I'm coming back 10 times harder. They come up.
You asked a very, very, very good question. Someone asked about, let me see. What's on her shirt? Okay. I'm going to show you what's on her shirt. And I actually observed that as well. Because if you look at her video, and I know that we have a little graphic thing going on, I'm going to mute it real quick. Okay. And I'm going to show you exactly what's on her shirt. See, when she took the mug shot, okay, let me pause it right there. Let's pause it. You see this little brown area right here? That's a scapulary. Okay. That's a scapulary. A scapulary is, and she has said it before. Actually, if you go back and watch her Costco video, she says, I'm not going to lie, I'm a Catholic ass person. A scapulary is something that, if you're in the Catholic religion, you tend to wear it. And in that scapulary, it's turned one side, and then there's like a little medal. It's a silver medal that's hanging from her neck. Okay. Then on her side, on the chest area, you have the champion brand right there. Okay. So from far distance, when you're looking at this video, it looks like something was like she was marked with something here on her shirt. No, it's a scapulary. Yes. Old school Patricia. Thank you. I wear one of those as well. Yeah. So let's just putting this out there. And the reason I know that is because the way in which it's set up, and then she has a little medallion on the side. So I knew that she's Catholic because she also said it at the Costco video. Scapulary, yes. And I can look that up and tell you guys a little bit more formal definition. I'm Catholic, and all I can say is I've worn one, and I don't really know how to even explain it to the fullest, as crazy as that is. Yeah, brown scapulary. So, but it's a Catholic. That's right. You get when, oh, thank you, Stacy. Get when you get from making your first Holy Communion, right? So at a younger age and anytime after, it's like when you meet one of the sacraments of the Catholic faith. Thank you, Stacy. So we said, Fun to be Blonde says, no black eye. Same shirt, no black eye. Thank you. It's an amulet for protection. Yes, scapulary. I know. I'm like, listen, I'm Catholic. And I can't. The Catholic thing is a whole different thing. All right. So someone has said, and I can't remember who made the comment up here because now we have a lot of comments. What did she vomit on her shirt? Patty in Austin asked. No, it's not vomit. It's a scapulary. All right. Just clearing that up, making sure that we know. Now let's look at this mugshot again. Okay. So she had been released here. This is when she went in. And I wouldn't be surprised that during the intake, they made her take off the scapulary and everything, made her put her hair down because they needed to make sure they capture her as she is. All right, she had already been arrested by here, right? She was getting booked. I don't see anything on her eye. I don't see any blackness. I don't see any swelling. Now, I'm not a medical professional, right? But I'm also well aware of what she said yesterday after she went, or actually, yeah, after she went into the other channel that was advocating as well. And I'm trying not to evoke any evilness in this channel, on both channels. So I'm just trying to be mindful of that. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to show you guys. I want you guys to hear her interview, okay? And we did, under fair use, fix the pitching of that interview. She calls in after her release or soon after or something like that, okay? Hear what she's saying. Listen to what she says, because it really threw me off.
But they told me I had a warrant when there was no warrant.
All right, start at the beginning. What happened?
Okay, so they told me I have messages on my phone where they have my phone. I don't have my phone, guys. So if you guys are contacting me, I ain't got my phone. First thing first, I met up with them in my town at the Bronx gas station in Desert Hot Springs, California, 92240.
You met up with who? Who'd you meet up with?
Two sheriffs. I don't even know their name. They never gave me their name.
From Riverside?
I got their faces on recording.
Their faces is all on recording. Everything's all on recording. My brother got it all on recording. They tell me to meet up with them for a protection and custody thing, to sign a paper so that they can protect me. No later than 2 minutes in, another sheriff pulls up in a different vehicle.
She's being arrested here. She's being put in the vehicle, okay? This is when she was yelling and telling her brother, hey, start recording. Record, okay? Oh, hopefully I didn't mess it up now.
Then I go to jail. They wanted me to sign a paper to say that everything. Even know. I told them, what am I getting arrested for? What am I arrested for? They never gave me no answer. Nothing. While they arrested me, they smashed my face into the vehicle. And so I have a black eye. I'm 4 months and a half pregnant. And so they sent me up. There was no proof of me lying. There's nothing. Just the way there's no proof of knowing about Molly, the way they don't give us evidence, there's no evidence on me. Okay, what part did I end off?
You said that they didn't have any evidence.
Yeah, they had no evidence. Just like we don't have proof that Molly's okay, they don't got proof that what I'm saying is a lie. There's no evidence. So then, when they arrested me, they tackled me onto the vehicle, smashed my face into the car. I'm 4.5 months pregnant. They had no reason to do any of that extra shit. Then I go to jail. They wanted me to sign a paper to say that everything was not true, and I denied it. So they kept my phone for evidence. And I said, that's fine. Keep my shit. Go ahead. There's nothing on there that you guys are going to find. You get me? I have nothing to hide. Go take my phone. I signed the paper for that, for them to, keep my phone. It was a receipt.
Why do you think they would keep her phone for evidence? I was thinking about this actually deeper. And I don't have an answer, okay? I have speculation. I don't have an answer. But if they're taking your phone for evidence, makes me wonder, I'm just going to throw this out there and I'm going to say allegedly, because this is where I get hypothetical and I'm just thinking out loud. Are they really after her? Or are they after a bigger fish? She doesn't have her phone. Why would they take her phone on a misdemeanor? She appears in court is set to appear in December. What if what they're looking for is something bigger? Yeah. Thank you, old school Patricia. It's a bigger fish. I'm kind of going there as well. I'm thinking it's a bigger fish. Yeah. Says that she has, it could very well be the case. But let me tell you, on a misdemeanor, that's where I was like, this doesn't quite make a lot of sense. And I wonder if we're looking for a bigger fish. Because what would you have on your phone? If we wanted to find out if they have the evidence to say that she falsified a story, right? Maybe they'll pull something on her phone, but is it really her? How do we not know it's someone bigger? Thank you. You are right on track. They are looking for the who set in motion. Who set her in motion? Oh man. Thank you. And I wasn't sure if anybody would have caught that. Let's keep playing.
Stating that they're keeping my phone. So they kept my phone, and my fiance just got me from jail. There's a lady that was with me in there, where she's a witness, where she can tell you guys that yes, they were trying to force me to sign a paper to say that everything's not true. So shut me up. Watch, tell them. They tried to tell her to, in professional terms, they told her, sign this waiver so that you can cease and desist, which means to shut the fuck up about the subject at hand. Not only because they
sign a waiver so you can cease and desist. But yet, what does she do when she's released? She goes up and she starts talking. I don't think that that's what it's called. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I don't know.
They think that she's lying, but because she had no solid proof according to them. Just like we don't got proof that Molly's okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's other witnesses there. There was other witnesses there. I was not just in a cell by myself. I was in a cell with other women who are witnesses to this as well. And I'm going to sue Sheriff Department, the Riverside County Sheriff Department, and Palm Desert because on one of my calls where they said we wanted to do an interview, I kept hearing myself being repeated. I asked them if they're recording me, then I'm suing them. They said that yes, that they were recording me without my consent. So therefore, I'm suing their asses because I told them that I didn't want to be recorded and they recorded me without my consent. So there it is, guys. They're trying to shut me up, and it's not gonna happen. Try again.
Oh my God.
They're gonna take me down without the evidence and proof that we need. Just the way you guys are saying I need proof and evidence. That's your motherfucking job to dig in and do it. Why you guys want me to do your job? Why don't you guys dig in further and get the evidence yourself? Get the proof to prove to us that she's okay, or that she's not getting arrested. Exactly. Or that she's not being trafficked. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Why haven't they had Molly speak up? Probably because she's beat the fuck up. And they're trying to cover the marks and wait until she's okay in order to speak. Because we don't know. We don't know. They don't give us that information.
So send me.
That's what happened to me right now.
Are you able to go somewhere safe?
No, I'm not. That's why I asked so many people if they can help me. If people can help me, because I can't just get up and bounce and leave because I also have payments at home where, it takes my money. It's not just easy to get up and leave. That's why I ask people, hey, would you guys be willing to help me? Because it's like, I'm one person.
Well, people tried to get online and say that, you're just clout chasing, but like we just saw that you were arrested. So we have the proof that you were arrested.
So we have the proof that you're arrested. That means you're not clout chasing. It's the logic for me, guys. It's the logic. No, she doesn't know what she probably doesn't even know what she signed. She probably doesn't know any of that. That's the piece. Right. Right. How about this? This is my theory, and this is where I'm going to say allegedly. Is it possible that these officers had been investigating? Let's just throw a theory out there. They probably had been investigating for quite some time. Maybe she was being followed. They were looking into the situation and they realized the social media, YouTube propaganda / PR world tour requesting celebrities and the tagging and the retagging of situations that they were like, well, we need to arrest her. Okay. Maybe they were investigating her. Is it possible that they were already looking at her for quite some time because of this? And then she just happened to be picked up with a warrant that they had signed?
And we kept calling her
Exactly.
jail.
All those being watched and everything, all those times that I said I've been watched. The video I sent you, I believe it's 1 minute long, where I'm showing everyone I am being watched. I got my evidence. I got my proof I was being watched. As I'm leaving for the first time in half a week to get some Del Taco, they're outside my house. As I'm at the Del Taco line, they're waiting for me to wait. They're waiting for me to leave to get me.
Do you have Cash App?
Yes, I have Cash App.
Okay, what's the Cash App?
I don't even know. Let me see. Oh my God, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe
Angelica Mendez is your real name?
Yes, Angelica Mendez is my real name.
Do you have your ID?
My ID? I don't have my
Like
ID.
your driver's license or anything?
No, I don't have any of that.
So people can't Western Union you money?
The guy with my fiance. My fiance is so pissed off right now because I'm 4.5 months pregnant. If I lose this kid, that's a fucking lawsuit right there for them.
They slammed you against the car knowing that you're pregnant?
Yes, they slammed me. The other sheriffs that were there trying to say they're protecting me, they played it off so good like, oh, what are you guys doing here? Stupid ass motherfucker. You guys know exactly what they're doing. You guys set me up. If there was really a warrant for my arrest, they would have been at my door, knocking on my door. Not setting me up the way they did. And then better yet, if you look online, there's no warrant out for my arrest. There was never a warrant out for my arrest. All of it was false. False, I tell you guys. False. I'm so pissed off. You guys don't even understand. The stress on my shoulders, the weight on my shoulders is just heavy. It's like heavy. It's heavy. It's bad. It's really horrible right now. Like, I probably have to go to the hospital because I was fucking bleeding out.
Did you find your Cash App?
Who did I send it to?
Do you have pictures of your face that you can send me?
Let me see. I believe it was. What was it? Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me try to find it. Let me try to find it real quick. Okay, I have it right here. I'm gonna send it to you. My Cash App name is the money sign Analia 112317.
Can you message it to me, and then can you send me pictures of your face too?
Download your account. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me screenshot for you. Okay, let me send it to you real quick.
Okay,
I feel
and
so sick. You guys don't understand it.
send us pictures of the black eye too, so we can put that out.
They didn't feed me. They didn't give me no food and nothing. And they said my punishment was I couldn't get socks.
These people are crazy.
It's horrible. I have my phone, so whoever contacted me, they're watching everything you guys are saying. But it's totally fine. But I mean, I'm just letting you guys know I'm not gonna be able to get any separate information. I'm probably gonna have my family try to help me get another phone, disconnect that one so they can connect to mine, and then probably change my number or something because I have to go closer to lay low. So it's just bad. It's bad.
Can you send pictures of your face?
I'll send pictures when I get home because I look all beat up. Like I had to woken up. I had barely fed my kids. I was getting into detail cleaning. Doing my daily routine.
She looks really beat up. Really? Really? Wait a minute. Does she?
No, didn't have to go to banning jail. They sent me to Indio jail. No reason, no warrant, no none of that. They set me up. I have a video when I'm being set up. They told me to meet them at Bonds and Desert Hot Springs.
Does she look beat up? Does she look beat up? She says she looks beat up. She says she was going to the hospital. This was yesterday. So did she do this live before she did the interview yesterday or after? I don't see a black eye. That's right. She didn't go to the hospital. Let me tell you why. She did the That's So Bold interview today. Okay. And honestly, I'm not, this isn't about dragging that channel or any other channel. Okay. We're not doing that today. This is about Molly and how we're missing the real story here because we're paying attention to this person who needs Cash App, who won't give you a picture of her face. She just did an interview and then was released that same day. Okay. Tell me if she looks beat up. I could be wrong, guys. I mean, I don't wear glasses on a regular. She got her phone taken away. Why? Because to me, that says that there's bigger fish in there or evidence, one or the other, on a misdemeanor. I wonder if you're just a patsy for the bigger thing. Allegedly. That's where I'm going to go conspiracy. That's right. Let's look at her mugshot. This is the mugshot. We just established it's the same shirt. This is what she wore. She took off her scapulary. Thank you, old school Patricia. I got to say it. I got to learn how to say it. Okay? That's the piece that really does not sit well. Now, let's play devil's advocate, okay? Because we do that very well, and we want to make sure that we give the other side. She said she was pregnant. Do you guys remember what we said yesterday? She herself said that she had been tackled. The title of that other video that was put out there is she was tackled by the police. We saw a clip of her being arrested. Now, being put in the car. Now, I don't know, maybe she was tackled before or after. I'm not really sure. She gave the police officer the wrong name, refused to identify herself. However, she identified herself when the Costco incident happened. She's alleging that she had been followed. And yet, if you've been followed by the police, why wouldn't you just give them your real name? They know who you are. You're being investigated. What is there to hide? What if she knew that she was being investigated for quite some time after that whole situation? Hence why she was asking for a lawyer. If you guys remember yesterday's picture that I showed you, spot fun. Oh, but we have another GoFundMe for her, for sure. And then you had that platform and that attorney saying, hey, make sure you donate. But if you can't donate to that, make sure just go ahead and Cash App her. Go ahead. We got to stop letting these people in these platforms to run a narrative, because her story consistently changed. Let's go back a little bit more. When the Costco video happened, okay, when it went viral, the local media interviewed her. She was there. But not once did she allege about rape. Not once did she say about blood trickling down her leg, which is what she had said on that other content creator's channel. Okay, that ignited a lot. Now I want you to think about this. If you have a trauma bond with your audience, if you have a bond with your audience and you just want to help and rescue victims, let me tell you, I think your heart is in the right place. But it can be misused, and it can be very much, you can be lied to and vulnerable because you're putting your energy on another cause that probably isn't the best. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, where's Molly? She said in her post, the system is broken. It is broken, guys. It is. That's not a lie. I already talked to you guys about the Hart family. We started that way. It's broken. But why cling to this situation? And yet, this is about Molly, right? This right here doesn't sit well with me. I'd said it before. This doesn't sit well with me. It hasn't sat well with me. Let me tell you this. Do I believe that the system is corrupt? Do I believe in sex trafficking and human trafficking? Absolutely, I do. Guys, it is a silent crime. It is happening. Okay, do I believe that there are agencies that could very well be connected to it? Yep, I sure do. I sure do. We just saw what happened with Vegas. What is it? Vegas PD and Molly Mall. They are real. But it's people that will exploit someone's need to help another person to the fullest, to either drive the view or drive the Cash App or drive. And yet, where's Molly? Yeah, and where's her black eye? This keeps going. Let's finish it off.
I was going to tell me if I can meet up at 1 o'clock. We met up at 1 o'clock. They dropped me against the vehicle. So I guess once I get home, I'll definitely send you guys pictures. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm hungry now.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put this out now of what they did and ask them on. I'm gonna ask the police what the fuck is going on.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. I put your Cash App up, so let us know what else we can do. And please send the pictures when you
I'll
can.
FaceTime you guys now when I get home and brush my hair, brush my teeth, everything. Because my punishment was they weren't going to feed me. No socks in there. Had me barefooted in the cold. Like, that's fucked up. You guys don't understand.
Are you going to a hospital? Are you going to go to a hospital?
Yeah, I'm going to go to a hospital. I would tell you guys what hospital, but I just don't want people to be watching me and being on my case, you know? Because they can't track me down anymore. They have my phone, so they're not going to know where I'm at, but I don't want to expose, what hospital or anything like that, because I just don't want people to be watching me. I'm actually kind of afraid of going to a hospital, because what if I go to one and they poison me and then I'm dead? I just don't know. Nowadays, I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's scary, man. It's like really scary. And my situation is freaking scary. Like, I'm scared for my family. I'm scared for myself. It's just...
Yeah. Okay. But let us know what happened.
And yeah, again, for fair use, we did a little sound distortion, made sure that it was well distorted to avoid any type of, pushback on the situation while we use this. I dropped the link down there for anybody that wants to maybe give some 2 cents. Maybe you have a difference of opinion. Totally, absolutely willing to listen to it. But I wanted to show you the two different aspects. Now, again, she called earlier. She did her little PR thing. Okay. There was an attorney that was there present. I believe by the name of Triple A or Triple X. I'm not really sure. Like there's something triple or something like that. No shade, seriously. But one thing that stood out to me, I was thinking, well, okay, child welfare law is separate from a prosecutor, right? Like they might intermingle and mesh well, because there's a component that goes together, right? But I was under the impression that she had been, or maybe she does have years of practice. I could be wrong. My thing is that if we're going to talk about a conspiracy theory, then we could talk about a conspiracy theory. It doesn't even need to be conspiracy. There's a lot of stuff out there that exists that says, you know what, kids are being exploited. Okay, the system doesn't work. I showed you guys how it all works out. Now, I have somebody here. Give me 1 second. Six Gun, sweetie, thank you for showing your face. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to get my headphones, okay? Alrighty. Let's add you to the stream. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Tell me what you got to say about this whole story. What are your thoughts?
Well, I've been watching a slow-moving train wreck since last week. And the whole thing made me a nervous wreck. Because, they said the police investigated, Child Protective Services investigated. Okay. What more can they do? Honestly, this girl Molly, I just think that as a mother of teenage girls at one point, I know how they can act in public if they don't feel good and everything. And she's old enough to know what's going on. And this has got to be terribly embarrassing for this little girl. To have your family doxxed and, their addresses and their phone numbers just read out for everybody. I mean, I don't understand. Like, nobody's talking about what, trauma this is causing her.
Right. She looks of teenage age, at least, or that she's approaching that age.
Probably like between 12 and 14, I would say.
Yeah. And I think part of the issue is that that's a great question, is what is going to happen? She's going to have to go back to school.
Yeah. Imagine what the kids are saying at school.
They probably have access to YouTube. No, you bring up a very good point. How do you think that it should have been handled? Now, before you answer that, I have DT down there as well. DT, I'm going to have to see your face before I bring you up. Otherwise, I got to cover you up. But if you can just show me your face, and then you can go back to your blank avatar. Oh, yes. Thank you. She showed me her face. I'll bring you on in just a minute. Thank you so much. But I'm sorry. My question was, what do you think the solution is to the situation at this point?
It's really hard because you don't want to trample on someone's First Amendment, freedom of speech. At the same time, there should be some sort of law to protect a family who has not entered, the public realm by choice. There should be something that when you get to the point that you're releasing phone numbers and addresses, I just feel like that just feels highly illegal. And the girl that reported the case, if you listen to her, because I listened to this last night, her story is constantly changing. The sure signs of a liar are details. This girl gives so many details like she's writing a novel. Like I was seeing in the chat, they were getting that Cash App set up for her, and that girl was just rambling out of her head. And she was like, oh, I can't send a selfie because I'm going to go home and take a shower and stuff first. Girl, really? Like, if she didn't have anything to hide, she wouldn't have taken one selfie. She would have taken 10 and then sent the best picture of her in for her cash out. But no, she had to hide something. She, said she was beat up. She doesn't look beat up. I was surprised that she didn't go home and like do some makeup to make it look like she had a black eye.
Right. Well, and I'm thinking she did the video where she was released.
Mm-hmm.
So did she do that before or after she did the interview with that other content creator?
Mm-hmm. That I don't know.
See, because I'm like, you didn't have a black eye then. So
yeah. Well, she didn't have it in her mugshot. She didn't even have any like red marks on her face, like she'd been handled.
Right. Right.
And I mean, I don't know. She's probably not even pregnant.
Well, I see it, and I'm not even going to go that far. I'll give her that much just because we don't know.
It just keeps developing. Like, see, these more tangents keep getting thrown into it, and that's to me just what makes it so fishy.
I will say this though, when I went into her Facebook, which by the way, she had shut it down, then she reactivated it, or she deactivated it, and she admitted to that in the interview today. Then she put it back up. When you actually look at her Facebook, she is very much like the division between police and people, right? And kind of like bringing awareness to that. Think about how you're able to share a lot of posts. Now, I don't want to be like, well, maybe she's an activist, or what is it? Maybe she's a social person that she loves to kind of promote that kind of, thing, right? That she feels like there's a huge divide all the time. But
well, if you go back to that phone call, the very first thing that she says on the phone call is F the police and F the government.
Yeah.
At the very beginning.
No. And her post recently was about Bob Marley and not cooperating with the government. And again, I could be speculating, but I'm like, well, tell me what you post and I might be able to tell you a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
And we will post all kinds of things, but just a review. And that's how social media is set up right now, is you could tell a lot about a person based on what they share on social media and what they don't.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So no, but I appreciate your insight. I'm going to add, we got 2 people here. I'm going to add them and then we will continue our conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. All righty. I got what is it? I keep saying T and I'm mixing them up. It's TD, right?
DT.
DT. See, I'm saying it backwards. Anyways, my bad. How are you doing today?
Good. Hi, Rabbit and friends.
All righty. Tell us what your thoughts are. What do you think?
Well, I think Angelica has a pattern of exaggeration. Her first reaction is always to exaggerate, and I want to use the word lie, but I don't necessarily want to really attack the girl, but like the previous caller said, details are very important. And I watched the 2 interviews between NHL, the first person she called when she came out, and then the gentleman earlier today. Oops, sorry. I don't remember his name because I don't watch him.
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, okay. And so there were 3 things that really stood out to me that were in contradiction of each other. And one of them was, she said that she went to go meet them at the Vaughn's parking lot, or gas station parking lot, or store parking lot. On the NHL interview, she said it was for a child protection case, that she was just going to sign papers. But on the gentleman's interview today, she said that she was going to write a report for defamation against
a
Paris
content creator, right? I think she said an order of protection. Yeah, you're right. I did hear that. There was a change in her story today about another content creator which by the way, guys, shout out to her. Her name is Paris Milan. Okay. I think one thing we have to understand, right? You're allowed, if something looks off, and we're not saying that we're throwing Angelica, the baby, out the water, so to speak, right? That it's really about, when did this become about Angelica Why can't we focus on Molly if that's the case, right? Versus this person that did bring attention to the issue, but continue to do so. And now there's even more speculation to what is really the big deal here, right? But anyways, go ahead.
Well, yeah, so she went into those were two complete different stories as to why she initially went to go meet the police. And then of course there's the one that we discussed with NHL. She says that she was pushed, she got a black eye, and today on That's So Bold, that's his name, uh today she said, oh, it's a little bruise, and I quote when she said, it's not like an exaggerated black eye. It's just when I blink, it hurts, and you can tell there's like a little bruise there. So it's just really two different stories there. And then we have the statement that she made on about giving up her phone. So on NHL, she said she gave full permission, she signed, and very casual about saying, I don't care. I signed it because I don't care. I don't have anything to hide. Whereas on today's interview with That's So Bold, uh, she emphasized that she didn't give permission and she doesn't know why they had to take her phone and things like that. So those are the types of exaggerations that lead me to, I mean, differences in stories that lead me to believe that her initial way to react to things is really to exaggerate, and the exaggerations turn into lies, which when she called the police initially with the Molly situation, she could have very well been exaggerating. To just assume and say that, they treat her like a slave because of the way that she was dressed, and because, I mean, that would have never come to mind. When I was young and went on road trips with my family, I looked lazy and out of place. Like we took 7, 8 hour drives, or sometimes was just at family's house, and it was boring. I didn't really, my parents didn't let me look bummy and go out in pajamas. But at the same time, if I didn't feel like matching and my hair looked a mess, then that's just the way it was. Now, with the whole Molly situation, there's something in my heart that tells me that there's something not right. I don't know what it is, but there is something a little off and awkward about it. Just, I understand if it was my child, I would want to protect her from the public and not feed into this in that way and put her out there to make statements and things like that. I would not. But I also, I don't know, there's just something to me that seems a little off with the behavior of the police as well. Um, I don't know, just not getting information accurate, and closing an investigation just hours after it was reported and things like that. I've seen corruption. I had an incident one time where a government official came to my house drunk by accident, and they went into a full cover up mode, and they were in my
Wow.
email and deleting things, and
Awesome.
on my
That's
cell
crazy.
phone. I don't know if the
No.
word is tapped, but they did go into my cell phone remotely also, and things like that. And I chose not to go public with it because I have a life, and in the end I am safe. Nothing happened to me physically, thank goodness. But and it was a mistake. The person and his people were drunk, and it's still unforgivable. But again, I didn't go public, but they did go into full cover up. The police department were very crappy to me. They practically
Mhm.
banged down my door to get me to agree uh, to not make public statements, and just
Yeah.
weird things were happening for weeks. So that's the reason why I feel like the police and the family at this point could put a stop to all of this by simply coming forward and being public with the details of the investigation. But yeah, as
Right.
far as Angelica goes, I really think that she she's not sh- she's giving exaggerated parts of her story, and they've just turned into flat out lies. So
Yeah.
we should just focus on Molly. And
Yeah. Let's focus on Molly. I
yeah, yeah.
appreciate your telling me that. I am going to one thing that was said in here, let me make sure because I think this is a very good point. Old school Patricia asked, why she filing a defamation case with Paris Milan. Yes, Paris. So my thought is she had said in this channel that she was making a report on Paris because her subscribers were harassing Angelica, something to that effect. I'm just thinking in my head, well, why would you meet them at a park? The story doesn't make sense. Now, again, we have to separate that from what the video captured at Costco. Another thing too that was said about Costco, and I'm gonna drop you from the call because I know there was another person that was trying to come in. I'm gonna put them back. Well, I'm gonna put them on if they call back. Do you have any last thoughts before I talk about Costco real quick?
Well, I was on Paris's lives, all the ones that were deleted. I was on those as they were playing, and not one time did Paris instruct any of her people to go there. The other thing that Paris did not do, basically, Paris was saying, I personally don't have a good feeling about this. I
Yeah,
personally have a bad experience with people asking for money. So
yeah.
I personally do not want to promote that. And Angelica was live on her Facebook, basically responding as it was going live. So people were going back and forth, delivering messages. Angelica was invited to come up to that panel at one point, and then Paris was just like, you know what, forget it. The girl is not making
No, that's
sense.
good, and that was a
But
good move on her. Honestly, I'm glad she did. Shout out to Paris. I am a follower of her content. I don't think she said anything absolutely wrong to her, but what I'm starting to pick up is that if you disagree with Angelica, which this is the repercussions that we're seeing, I guess. I'm not really sure. But
yeah,
thank you
you'll
so
get
much for sharing that.
a mob stalking, basically.
Yeah,
If you disagree, people come after
yeah,
you. And so,
for
but
sure.
Rabbit, thank you so much for your thorough work and for your care. And I really appreciate what you do on your channel. I'm very happy to have found you. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for joining us. Alrighty, and I know
Oh,
we had somebody else that was they might have left the stream. I'm not really sure. I don't see. I think it was who is it? RTQ Let. I don't know if you're here. Call back if you're ready. We're ready for you. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to make sure I let everybody know. The thing about Costco was coming up. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna add you to the stream. Okay, give me 1 second. The thing about Costco. Okay, so everybody knows about Costco. Has anybody here been in a situation? Now, this has happened to me. Happened to me at a store where a car hit me, and it was in a parking lot. And so I was requesting for the video footage of when this car hit me for insurance purposes. Okay. Costco is not going to release information without a subpoena, without any video. All right. And it would be speculation to even think that they would have the audio of everything that's going on. You see, they only work on the visual. And if you need something like a visual from Costco, you would have to get a subpoena to get their video because they don't want to be held liable to anything as well. So they're not just going to release a video of their store. I just wanted to make sure that we clear that. Try to go to a grocery store and ask them what their process is to have their video released for filming on that day. And you will hear that they can't just release it to you. There needs to be some level of, review and a subpoena and all that other stuff. But anyways, RTQ go ahead and say your piece. Ooh, I don't know if you're muted. Can everybody hear you? I can't hear you. I don't know if it's your sound. RTQ, could you hear me? I do not hear a sound from you. Hopefully you can come back. Maybe you can come back in. You should be able to speak because you're on the screen. Let's see. See if I can add you back. Yeah, no, I can't hear either. Yeah, you might need to unmute. Try to unmute on your end because you're unmuted here. Why don't you try to come back in There you go. Maybe she needs to try to come back in. Thank you. And we will try to get you back on. Alrighty. So, yeah, that's the thing with Costco, just so you guys are aware of it. Now, because Angelica likes to use Facebook, you know, she did a little statement. This was today. Costco isn't allowed to show the footage and release it. That's right, they're not. And I don't know if they would have audio. I highly doubt it. She doesn't know why. They probably need a subpoena for it. The investigation was closed over the weekend. I believe she's speaking about the CPS investigation. Yeah, so there's so much, and feel free to go to her Facebook. I honestly don't really have the capacity to read all of her postings, okay? And that's because I feel like I'm not getting good value in terms of like information. Now, one thing I did find, even though she had closed down her Facebook, disabled it, there were people that were commenting on her old Facebook about why she went in hiding. And people were calling her a liar, okay? There was somebody that posted and said that they were going to put roots on the police station. Please don't put roots to the police department. Like, please don't put roots. Please don't. I was laughing when I heard that. I said, "What?" Yeah. Yeah. So it's a lot, guys. But again, this is about Molly, right? We have to make this about Molly, correct? We need to not lose sense of that. And if the story sounds weird, it is. It is a little weird, okay? I give you that. Okay, but please don't put roots. Yeah, old school Patricia said somebody said they were going to put roots to the police station. Articulate is on. How are you?
I am good. Can you hear me now?
Yay, we can hear you. Everybody, can you guys hear her?
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
I
Tell
can't see
us
the
what
chat.
your thoughts are.
Oh my goodness, where would you like to start?
On
Okay,
today's content.
so here's my theory. Can you hear me or no?
Yes. Yeah, tell us your theory. How
Okay,
about
well,
that?
yeah. Ha ha. And looking at her, she says quite a few different things. She mentions that her fiance was recording. If in fact that is the truth, right? Because we don't know. Where is that? Because allegedly when she was arrested, as we could see from the video that you shared, you could see pretty much the police cars, her car, her getting out, record. Where is it? I mean, not that I'm saying that not to invalidate her claim because I don't know, but on the other side, there is a possibility that she could have been mishandled while the cuffs were going on. That tends to happen if you have a little tussle and you're kind of moving away from any type of being detained, if you will, especially if you're on top of on the front part of the car. And she seems like she's a little short. I don't know. So there's my question there. Have we seen any of the video of where she was allegedly cuffed and whatnot? And why did the recording stop?
I think you bring up a really good
Can you
question.
hear
You know,
me?
I see the likelihood of her having been
Did I lose
mishandled
this
during the
again?
handcuff.
Oh
Oh,
my
can you hear
goodness.
me? Uh-oh. Think she went out. So Articulate said, was there anything that said something about the other videos, right? The likelihood of you being mishandled during handcuffs. I mean, I've seen people be bruised. I was hoping to see like a bruise, one or two or whatever, like in her hands or her arms. I didn't see any of that. She sounded very much stressed. She had said AMK. She had said that she wanted to go to the hospital. She was going to the hospital yesterday's interview, right? And then today's interview, she said she decided not to. She was afraid she would have been killed. That's what she said. Okay. And she said she was slammed, but there's no redness in her. We saw the release and then we saw her mugshot. I don't see any redness or anything, guys. And she's light skinned. Okay. We're about the same skin complexion almost, right? That you would see a bruise. My thought is here too. It's like, and as I was looking at her Facebook, is, you know, the stuff that she posts about, she posts a lot of stuff, right? And maybe she truly believes in a lot of the movements that are out there. Um, I think that's important. However, I would hate, and this is just my thought. And Articulate, I'm adding you back on. I would hate for
I'm
her.
sorry.
No, you're fine. I was finishing. Let me finish my sentence real quick. I would just hate for her to use this movement about Molly as a way in which to kind of capitalize from it, okay? Whether it's through Cash App or she knows she misreported and now she's asking for an attorney to represent her. I'm going to say allegedly on that, but I would hate for her to do that. That's kind of where I'm at. But anyways, go ahead, Articulate. Oh no, is your sound okay?
Oh no.
Oh no, you keep coming in and out, in and out.
Are you there? Okay, let me change. I'm going to change headphones.
Okay. Yeah, so that's just my thought, is that I would hate for her to use this as a way in which to capitalize over this situation. It is very we're very sensitive to discrimination, police brutality, conspiracies, things like that, right? We're very sensitive to it, rightfully so. But yeah, it went pretty intense. To Wanted to Inspire TV, there that post that I saw, this girl literally said it. I'm not going to put her up here. It's on her Facebook. It's on her old account. This is what I would consider a threat. Okay? This is what I would consider a threat. You are telling people that you are going to put roots, at a police station, right? Something to the effect of, you better release her. I'm going to put roots. Uncle blah blah, like she was naming her ancestors in this posting, okay, towards the police. How can someone not perceive that as a threat, right? I don't know. So check it out. You check it out on your own. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's on her, not her current account. It's on an older account. Okay. They were posting because they didn't have any place to post, and you had people in there that were like calling her a liar and stuff. But anyways, I am Articulate. I'm going to actually jump off. I got like maybe 2 or 3 more minutes. I'm not really sure if anybody else, I don't know if you're going to hop back in to join us and finish your thought. I would hate to kind of end you there. If anybody else has a thought and would like to join, we got about 2 or 3 minutes here on this live, and then we're heading out because it's Sunday, and we gotta rest. But just not wanting to know what your guys' thoughts are. Yes, we are streaming on 2 live platforms. We are trying to work on our other page. Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. That's definitely a threat, but she is Catholic, right? Yeah, it wasn't her that made that. It was somebody else that's been following the story that threatened to put roots if they didn't release her from where she was being held at. Yeah, so it wasn't this girl. It wasn't Angelica. It was someone else that's been following the story. They put a comment up there on her older page saying that they need to release her or they're going to put roots at the police station. That's what it said. So people are very intense about the situation, right? I don't know. And you know what? Grown, not green. I would agree. I would have to agree with that. Why not focus on Molly? Why is she being why use this to capitalize from her? You guys see that? I don't know if anybody else sees that. They're using, if we're going to talk about race, they're using this black child. They're capitalizing from her. Okay? That's what it's starting to look like to me. It's not looking like you have a victim. It's looking like people are being capitalized in this situation. Go ahead, Articulate.
Okay,
if you want to finish this off.
I am back. This time I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so here's where I'm at. A couple of things that I think you guys addressed, the whole manhandling situation and the alleged video. If indeed I think she said at first that her fiance was recording, then subsequently it was her brother. Okay, so which was it? one. Two, something I really, really would like to know when we are talking about the big fish situation, right? We're stating that perhaps there is a possibility that they took her phone in order to gain intel, which is what they do. Okay. I have personally witnessed many a times in different police departments around our area where we live. I'm an advocate, and
I've seen it too.
yep. And so, I mean, I can't tell you how many times, but that's $1,000 phone. Well, they'll give it back when they're done downloading everything. So that's kind of how that works. And they go through everything. So normally that happens though when there are very serious crimes committed, felonious sexes, that type of thing. And it's interesting to me that she didn't have to hand it over. Let's be clear. Okay. Further to that, is she possibly looking to say, hey, I'll give you my information, you let me go? We don't know what kind of deal was made behind the scenes. And we certainly don't know the deal that was inked on paper with the state's attorney. Okay, so we'll never have access to that. And let's be real. Was Angelica the one that was out there feeding the narrative? Possibly. I mean, at first, yes, absolutely. But secondly, how soon, does anybody know in the chat, how soon after Angelica's alleged video and or the incident that occurred was the New York side involved? How soon after? Does anyone know that?
You mean the Arizona side or New? Oh,
The New
I see
York
where
side.
you're going with this.
The New York, the verbal
hear
New
you.
York set them in motion and go side.
That's a great question. And I'm wondering, because it seemed like things were kind of I don't know how many videos now that the whole situation is deleted. It's deleted doesn't mean it's gone. It's deleted. It's removed
Right.
from us.
Right,
It's
right.
not removed from the authorities,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So if we're so worried about evidence and stuff, it's not for us to have. That's where I was going with that. My mind went directly to that because I've also seen situations in which little fish, big fish. That's where, and allegedly, that's where I'm going to say that. That's as much as I'm going to say because I know how this stuff works in the background as well. Tawana to Inspire TV says, Rabbit, have you seen Molly or any other outlets? I have not seen her. And quite honestly, when we had talked about this yesterday, they're not going to give information on a child. They don't need
They
to.
can't.
They
can't.
can't.
No.
The most we'll get is she's okay. Now, a parent's statement, that's up to the parents. But I think what our responsibility here, right, as subscribers, as the community is, if we're concerned, then we can definitely express our concerns in a different way. It could just very well be, organizing a GoFundMe, organizing something that, not a GoFundMe. I hate to put money to the situation because Angelica did that.
Yeah.
And she has been doing that. And we don't know where it's going to go, quite honestly. But there's got to be a different way to help for sure.
And with that being stated, I mean, with respect to Molly, if that is indeed her name, which it's presumed it is, with respect to Molly, I mean, would like to step back for a second. And as I had seen from the fish in New York swimming around and, sending all of the other little piles of fish that way towards Arizona and towards California and whatnot. I had heard about that. Obviously, we had been talking about it. And in looking at that situation, that poor little girl, okay, the amount of fear, think back when we were children and we would see the police, the amount of fear that she has to be going through to see all of these people roll up, all of these people ask questions. They're saying 4 independent reports, 4 different times, possibly 15 to 20 different groups of people at that per incident. How many times has she been pulled away from the family to have these conversations? What did they ask you? Were the parents present? Was she able to talk openly? We don't know that. We'll never know that. But it should have stopped at the report. It should have stopped when individuals, because I know there's multiple individuals, hundreds of thousands of individuals, not thousands, but hundreds of, or maybe thousands, had gone and listened to the particular interview that was on that that channel that no longer exists, where the officer had stated, when he called back, I have personally seen that she is okay. I was personally there. Enough. Stop. You don't continue to send forces to go after these police departments, these agencies, and keep filing complaints. All of that cost per person $5,000 to $20,000. Cost per person just on manpower. Imagine the bill. Where do we think all of our taxpayer money, and some of it's federal, y'all, some of it's federal, is going for this? And how in the world that's going to be, we're going to be paying for this bill? And not only us, but I hope that they go after the other side. I have personally seen the Jussie Smollett. I mentioned that earlier. Look at what happened with him for filing a false police report. One.
Yes.
Then, and not only if the authorities are stating Miss Angelica's report was false, then that would mean every single one thereafter is false.
The other thing too is there was a person in that group that ran the license plates. Okay.
That's against the law, by the way, unless you are being pulled over for a crime. Let me be clear about this, people, y'all who are listening. And I know the other side will be listening to this. I am telling you as a definitive fact, anyone who has a child who is an officer or a representative of the court, you absolutely know for a fact, you just cannot run plates for the hell of it. Somebody is abusing their authority and their badge and their star. And let me assure you, every time someone logs into a police enforcement system, they can see the print because the star leaves a print.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I mean, this is serious stuff. And so if in fact, because let's just say for giggles, right, that maybe they are after the big fish. Well, look at what the big fish has done in the past to a certain other channel by running plates, by gathering information that is, inappropriate. Let's say driving by someone's house and taking a picture of their vehicle. That's intent to stalk. I don't care who you are. So I'm just saying these are facts. These are go into the police enforcement records or go look up how a case is handled. This is what happens. The step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe, just maybe, they weren't actually watching Angelica. Think about that for a minute.
Because like I said, bigger fish. When she said the phone was taken or she confiscated, I knew that this wasn't even about Angelica at this point, that there was bigger. And so, and I say that
and look at the videos that are
scapulary. I was saying it wrong. Scapular. You're gonna need a scapulary. You're gonna need something for this one because this one's big.
It is, and it's really evident where it's going, and the other side cannot see the influence of the universe or God or whoever it is, what type of God you believe in. I'm all for that, but if y'all don't see the influence of the positive and the good on this side onto that whole New York channel, I don't know if it could be any louder.
No,
I do not know if it could be any louder, but the bottom line is there's some serious stuff going on here. I do feel bad for Angelica. It seems like she was intertwined, and who knows why the narrative is changing, who is putting it in place.
Right. And those are just things in my mind, again, the stuff I don't really share, but I knew that that's where it was going to go. So allegedly, and if it happens, you guys know where you heard it.
Yeah. I mean, because the realistic aspect is, let's be real. They don't take your phone. And so she kept talking about this paper, right? Yes, they do give you a piece of paper when they take your phone and intake it because they ask for your permission to have it. Now, there are certain circumstances where they will just take it from you. But if you remember back into the case in California, there was some situation where the FBI was trying to get into someone's Apple after they had passed away because it contained, criminal information in it. But they couldn't even get into it. and there's a chain of custody and a whole triad that's involved and whatnot that has to happen. They can't just look at her phone. Think about that for a minute. They can't just look at her phone. She has to grant permission, and or she will have had to have committed a very big crime, and they're going to give it back. Let's be clear. So, whatever she's saying that she doesn't have a phone, but yet she has her cash out. Some things just do not sound right, and it seems like there's pieces that are missing or that are put in after the fact. And I'm not saying that she's being deceptive in any which way, shape, or form, but I mean, yes and no, but I'm not going into this particular area is what I'm saying. The body language after the arrest, her tone and inflection in her voice, all point to she was extremely stressed out. And she's also stating, as a matter of fact, I need you all to send me money because these people, if you look at one of the other, they said they were going to take care of her. They said they were going to take care of her. So we can't get to those videos now because they're gone. But in one of those videos, it was, we will support you at all costs. Okay.
Right.
Okay. What does that mean?
Well, yeah. Well, where's the attorney? No, we need a Cash App now.
Yeah.
So I thank you so much for providing so much good information. And I think that for me, my mind has been going there, but I'm limited and or just really thinking about what can or can't be said. Some of it, as content creators, we have to kind of drop a couple hints to see if anybody, and actually a lot of the people in the chat picked up on that right away. So I'm sure a lot of people have been thinking about that as well. So thank you everyone in the chat who participated. We're going to call this a night. Anything else you want to say, RTQ, before I let you go?
I'm good. I'm would like to kind of remind everyone that, there are so many different facets to child abuse, and there's so many different actions that we can take. And I know that there was one, someone in the chat once upon a time who stated that, just leave it alone. It's not your business. No, if you see it or you suspect it, there's a DCFS number that you can call anonymously. There are children that are out there that need our help every single day. And if we just turn a blind eye, just keep that in mind, that in the future, that could be, someone that's close to us or a child that's screaming from the inside, please help me. Look at those eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul. They will tell you everything. And if you don't feel right, you gather as much data as you possibly can and you call in. You don't have to call into the police if you don't want to. At least call in to someone who can appropriately disseminate that information. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And that was a great closing. Thank you so much. I'm going to drop you. Thank you for the information that you provided to us today. Thank you so much. I'm going to remove
Thanks
you.
for having me. Yep.
No,
thanks.
Thank you. Bye. We are ending. We've been up here for quite some time. It's time to just rest up and stuff. Again, shout out to everyone on the chat. Shout out to everyone that has been following us. The best way to support us, of course, we appreciate any financial stuff. Thank you so much again for the Cash Apps and the Super Chats and all that other stuff. But it's by sharing our channel, hence how we grow and how we are able to move around and, do what we have to do is by growing in subscribers and our numbers and our views. So I know that this was a long live, but I think we got a lot of good information out there, which is really what the intent was. And all we can do is really, support each other, support everyone. Again, thank you so much for your time. And guess what? Rabbits out.